It was the first time in the season where we turned left and right, and let's just say it was Toyota domination. Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Inside the Lines poster show. I am your host, Jack Krause, and like I said earlier, it was the first time that NASCAR turns left and right for the Cup Series at Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California. Not only was this the final race for NASCAR on Fox's broadcast, it was also the final race for Darrell Waltrip, as he announced earlier in the year at Bristol that he would retire from broadcasting following Fox's season. So it was the last boogity, I guess you could say, for Darrell Waltrip's career. The race started out with really three drivers going to the rear of the field, if I'm not mistaken. It was Daniel Suarez and Erik Jones. Jones had to go to the back due to a qualifying issue. He spun out during qualifying due to a right rear tire going down, and Daniel Suarez had to go to the back due to an engine change. Also, Ross Chastain, who won the Truck Series race last night at Gateway, he also had to go to the back of the field due to a driver change, and I believe also the 95 of De Benedetto, if I'm not mistaken. There he is right there. I believe he also had to go to the back, but I'm not sure due to adjustments. But again, De Benedetto, he really put on a show in this race today. Now, it was really a nothing race. It was just a normal Sonoma race, in my opinion. Kyle Larson started on the front row along with William Byron. Kyle Larson, who won the pole the past three Sonoma races, but as history shows, I mean, he has an average finish of 19.3, I believe, at that track. And it showed today on how just because you're fast at qualifying doesn't mean you can be good at the race. He fell like a rock. Went from first to, I believe, around 6th place around when stage 1 ended. Nothing happened in stage 1, but it was all Hendrick. Chase Elliott took 2nd place away from Kyle Larson, I believe, around lap 6 or so. And William Byron led every single lap in stage 1. And as a result, he won his first ever stage win on a road course, so nice job for him. Now, we could tell at the beginning of this race and from previous races involving stage racing that it was going to be a combination of drivers that are going to be using pit strategy to get a win and using pit strategy to get a stage win. William Byron was one of the drivers that elected to go for stage wins, to go for points, while Truex, on the other hand, again, like what he did back in 2017, or I believe, no, yes, 2017, he was going for a race win. Him, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Busch all came up pit road on 2 laps ago. They left William Byron out in the dry. Also, driver came up pit road was the 22 car, Joe Logano. He reportedly had electrical issues, specifically with the battery of the car, and that would affect him really the whole race. And yeah, that was really it for stage 1. Like I said, very nothing stage 1. And yeah, Byron just dominated, led every single lap of those 20 laps. Stage 2 began with Chase Elliott and Mark Truex Jr., who came on pit road 2 laps ago. Stage 1 led the race, or led the restarts for stage 2. Mark Truex Jr. then would take the lead. Another driver that was part of the drivers that had to go to the rear of the field, which was Erik Jones. By the time stage 2 started, he was all the way up inside the top 12 and 11th place, so it was a nice pickup for him. Erik Jones, he always bad things happen to him. Like, really, the theme of this year so far is just him and tire problems. Had a tire issue in qualifying of all things, and somehow was being able to rebound. And he ended up having a really nice run for the position that he had to start with at Sonoma, which is a very tough place in order to pass that. So a nice pickup for Erik Jones. Eric Almirola in the 10 car, he spun in the carousel, kept on going, no caution. Then a little later, before that. Then in turn 11, Michael McDowell ran into the inside of Ryan Preece, entering turn 11, spun Preece around, no caution. We saw a lot of bumping, a lot of bang, and there was a lot of cars that had a lot of hood damage on their cars. So it had like a Bristol type feel in terms of drivers having a lot of damage on the cars, but they were able to continue. But really no cautions, like no real cautions that really affected the race except for stage cautions. And like I said earlier, some drivers are going for stage wins, some drivers are going for the race win. With 4 laps to go, you had drivers like the 20 car of Erik Jones, Kurt Busch, Matt DiBenedetto, and the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. So I have to look down, I have my notes there, which gave the lead to the 11 car Denny Hamlin, who really had a last few weeks he's been just having some bad finishes, but Sonoma, he had a really good run. He ended up winning stage 2 with Brad Keselowski in 2nd, William Byron in 3rd, and in 10th place, Bubba Wallace, which is amazing. The fact that when you look at him and his career on road courses, that's a win for him to get 10th in the stage. So yeah, nice run for Bubba Wallace. Stage 3 began with the 19 car Martrix Jr. leading with Ryan Blaney in second. Another driver we should point out is the 41 car Daniel Suarez, who he had to start it back due to an engine change. Rebound very nicely, was up in the top 5 when stage 3 started. Also, Matt DiBenedetto, who pitted, started in 6th place, or restarted in 6th place. So he had an unbelievable run in a very nice looking orange Darrell Waltrip scheme to honor Darrell Waltrip, who, like I said, is retiring from Fox at the end of this race. And also Ryan Newman, who started 21st and was restarted inside the top 10. So a lot of good drivers who you don't really expect to have good runs, having very nice runs at Sonoma. Then a couple incidences that took place in turn 10 and turn 11. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who was running a Darrell Waltrip Western Auto scheme, got into the 47, actually, no, it was a 21 car, I believe. No, it was a 47 car of Ryan Preece in turn 11, spun him around, no caution. Then coming in the middle of turn 10, 1 lap later, Michael McDowell got loose and spun off of turn 10. Again, collected it, no caution. Then the 18, it was never captured on camera, but the 18 had just massive hood damage when the camera cut him coming through the S's. Apparently, reported by Matt Yoakum, it was believed to have come from Chase Elliott, who was ahead of Kyle Busch at the time. Maybe he just ran to the back of him. Didn't look like it. If you look from Chase's car, it didn't look like he had that much damage, but apparently it was enough to put a big dent in the front end of that 18 M&M's Camry. Didn't really affect Kyle Busch at all as we get into the later portion of this race. Then with 29 laps to go, Chase Elliott, who was running second at the time, passed Ryan Blaney in the 12. He reported no oil pressure coming from the car, and then just a few minutes later, they rolled the car. Him and the team rolled the car behind the wall, and yeah, Chase Elliott was, I believe, the first and only retiree of this race, which is a shame because Chase Elliott was really the fastest Chevy, in my opinion. But unfortunately, the result didn't show it. Now, this is going to be interesting. With 27 laps to go, Martrix Jr. pits while the 18 car stays out. Also, remember, the 47 car suffered a uncontrolled tire. So, again, it was a tough break for Suarez, who was running well inside the top 10. But back to the 19 and the 18. What many fans assumed was that Kyle Busch was going to pit with Truex, which made sense because, you want to stay with the leader in case something happens. You always pit with the leader. Always pit with the leader so you can guys be on the same strategy. Now, some people have said Mike Joe reported that maybe could have been radio issues, but apparently that wasn't the case at all. They just told, really, they didn't tell Kyle anything. Kyle said, hey, you guys talking? They just said, no, just do your thing. So they were going over pit strategies, so it was no radio issues. And then with 23 laps to go, Kyle Busch pits and came out, I believe it was 7.6 seconds behind Martrix Jr. when everyone cycled through. We all thought that, okay, that really just screwed Kyle Busch's chances because even though he has 3 laps fresher tires, he's too far back to be able to make a gain. 15 laps to go, Joey Logano comes in once again reporting more battery issues, so a bad day goes to worse for Joey Logano. But back to the leaders of the 19 and the 18, Busch was 7.6 seconds back with around 22 laps to go. Then with 13 laps to go, Kyle Busch closed that gap in half. Chopped it in half. And then with 6 laps to go, Kyle Busch was under a second behind Martrix Jr. And at this point, they caught up to lap traffic, specifically with the 34 car Michael McDowell. Truex was able to get by McDowell. However, Kyle Busch it took him a bit of time. Maybe I think it was about a lap and a half longer for him to pass the 34 car of Michael McDowell. And for some reason, after he passed him, Kyle Busch could just never catch him. I mean, it was around 1 second. Then I believe he got close to even 0.6 of a second, but then it just opened to around 1.1 to 1.3 seconds, and Kyle Busch just could not catch him. He didn't lose ground, but he couldn't close in. He was just maintaining a 1.3 second gap, and Martrix Jr. was able to hold on and win his 4th race of the season and his 2nd at Sonoma. Actually, no, this is his 3rd at Sonoma, if I'm not mistaken. He won in 2013, 2018, I think, and 2019. So, yeah, Truex has become a really good road course racer in wine country. Now let's take a look at the top 20 race results. Martrix Jr. wins with Kyle Busch in 2nd, Ryan Blaney 3rd. How about Matt DiBenedetto ties his career best, 4th place? An awesome one for Matt DiBenedetto. Really put on a show at Sonoma today. Denny Hamlin, nice one for him after he had a few weeks of just not being there lately. Comes on with the top 5 finish today. 6th is Kevin Harvick. 7th is Ryan Newman. Nice one for Ryan Newman. 8th, Erik Jones. A great run for him after he had to start at the rear of the field. So top 10 is a good run for that number 20 team. 9th is Eric Almirola. 10th is Kyle Larson, which is actually pretty good because he was outside the top 15 for a good portion of this race. So top 10, a nice sort of rebound for him considering his record at Sonoma. So yeah, top 10 is good for Kyle Larson. 11th is Clint Boyer. 12th is Jimmy Johnson. Johnson was 5th after pit stop cycle through and then fell from 5th to 12th. So looks like his car just went to complete crap in that later portion of the race, which is sad because I literally said before the weekend started, I said, because my birthday is coming up in this Tuesday, and I said, hey, as a birthday present, how about Jimmy finish in the top 5? And he was going to with 20 laps to go and then fell to 12th. He didn't even get a top 10, so I guess things aren't just meant to be. Kurt Busch in 13th, Alex Bowman in 14th, Daniel Hemrick in 15th, and Chris Buescher in 16th. Daniel Suarez 17th, Brad Keselowski 18th, William Byron in 19th, which I don't think it really shows a result because I feel like he had more of a top 10 car rather than him finishing in 19th. But really, it was a really strong run for Byron. Again, even though he finished 19th, he overall had a really good car. I felt like he had a top 10 car, but strategy, I guess, didn't work his way. And David Reagan rounds out the top 20. So what would I give this race? It was just a nothing race. It was a Sonoma race. I mean, the last portion of that race was really, it was interesting to watch, especially the strategy going on, because I didn't think Kyle Busch was going to be able to run down Truex, and then he did, and then I thought, oh, he might actually pass him, but I think that last portion was pretty interesting. But overall, I mean, stage 1, nothing happened. Stage 2, really nothing happened. Stage 3, like I said, that last portion happened, so for Sonoma standards, I'd give this maybe a 5.56 out of 10. It was just a Sonoma race. It was just meh. You know, nothing more to it. But yeah, like I said earlier, this concludes Fox's broadcast and concludes Darrell Waltrip's 19-year broadcast career. One last boogity, boogity, boogity for you, Darrell. Thank you for all the racing memories that you've given us since '01. And now on to NBC. Yes! Finally! I'm sorry, but yeah, NBC will take over the NASCAR broadcast next weekend at Chicagoland Speedway. I don't think you're going to see as good of a race as you saw last year because of the air package, but who knows. Yeah, tell me what do you guys think of the race in the comment section down below. Until next time, I will have an Inside Lines coming on Monday, hopefully. I can't guarantee it, but Monday, hopefully, I'll have an Inside Lines for you guys. Recapping not only this race, but what took place at Gateway and the K&N race. But yes, until next time, I'm Jake Ross from NASCAR on MDK, and I will see you guys in the next video.